Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. I will just share here. Um, Anthony, I don't see a share option for me. Usually I have it down here. Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah, it's just hidden. Thanks, everybody. So Bridget O'Sullivan is my name, and I'm working as a research assistant on the GERONTE project. Now, GERONTE is an EU-funded project that's aiming to improve the quality of life for older adults with cancer and other morbidities. And it's aiming to do this by streamlining the care pathways for this group of patients. I'm working with collaborators in Dublin City University from the School of Nursing, from School of Business, and also from the School of Education. And our main aim is to work with the European partners to identify what exactly this improved care pathway would look like and how exactly we can implement this, and to develop an implementation plan that will enable this project and interventions to be, integrated in other areas once it's finalized. We're currently at the design stage. So our main objective here is to identify exactly what an improved care pathway would look like, and to identify how technology can be used to achieve that. So because we're at the design stage, a key objective of ours is to work with the relevant stakeholders with a co-design approach. So the relevant stakeholders for us here are quite broad. We're including obviously patients, carers, clinicians, technology software developers, technology specialists within the various hospitals that this might be used in, and looking at hospital managers and administrators. And this network of collaborators will likely expand as we work towards implementing our innovations here. What I'm presenting on today is a piece of that work, and what we have developed that is quite novel, and we expect to be quite useful for this project and for other projects, is a methodology that works towards a co-design process. So typically, as I'm sure you're probably well aware, the translation of research obviously into practice is quite tricky, particularly for any projects involving technology. And one of the reasons, there's a number of complex reasons for that, including the complexity of the settings in which they're going into, and also issues in relation to co-design, where often what is actually designed isn't exactly in line with end users' needs. So our goal is to try to develop a process where we can have end users' needs met, and also something that will work within the complexity of the setting that it's going into. So in our co-design methodology, we have drawn together a few currently existing and well-known methods, such as using participatory rapid appraisal and focus groups. And we're combining those two methods because they align with the process that we need to do. So what we want to do is identify end users' needs, and also the complexity of the setting. So we're using the serial focus groups to meet with the various stakeholders, namely the patients, carers, clinicians, and to identify what exactly the care pathway would look like. And then we're using a participatory rapid appraisal method to rapidly analyze the feedback that they're giving us, so that we can come up with an ideation, a prototype, a starting point, a design that we can work from and refine. So participatory rapid appraisal is a methodology that has its roots in agriculture and developmental aid. And it started there because a lot of the earlier work in developmental aid to help people was not effective, because it didn't take in the context in which they were setting. For example, if you're thinking about rural areas in terms of, places that were far removed from urban areas and didn't have the resources, or, the changing weather conditions. So participatory rural appraisal aimed to capture the local knowledge that actually had an impact on how interventions and innovations worked. So we're using it here. It has developed on quite significantly, and we're using it in this method because it's involving participants, and it uses an approach which is focusing on time-critical, actionable decisions. So that aligns very well with our serial focus groups, because we have our focus groups, we analyze the data quickly, we feed that back to the software developers. They're developing some ideas and prototypes on technology that might be useful and beneficial to enabling us to streamline care. Then we're taking those prototypes and ideas back to our stakeholders, our patients and clinicians. They're feeding back to us on how they think this will work within the context of their settings. And then we're feeding that back to the developers to refine our product further again. So broadly speaking, what we're doing at this moment is we're writing up some feedback on how our processes is working, and we're in the pilot stage of development. So we're just creating finalized structured ideas on how other groups can use this. One of the there's a number of benefits that this methodology will help once we have completed a write-up on how to do it, is that our process itself in the co-design process has also been developed with our European collaborators. So this process has been, the process itself of the focus groups and participatory rapid appraisal has been developed in collaboration with our other European partners, such as the software developers, such as the patient representative organizations, such as the clinicians. And it has been, refined in a way that it enables our focus groups and our protocols for those to capture the relevant data that each of those stakeholders need. So the broad process and the finer detail involved in that is focusing on capturing the data and the information that the various stakeholders need to design something that meets their requirements. Technology innovations have a very high failure rate, particularly in healthcare, because of the complexity of the settings. And one of the things with technology innovations, to tailor them to the particular setting, they need to be altered or refined, because it's certainly not one size fits all, as I know you'll know. And technology developers use a process called Agile Development. And broadly speaking, that's a process where they reach out to end users and they have ideation sessions where they capture what they identify as patients, end users' needs and expectations, and things that requirements in relation to the technology, things that make it user friendly. From these ideation sessions, then they develop prototypes. And then they refine those through various iterations. So one of the values of the methodology that we're developing right here is that it aligns very well with that agile development process. It doesn't replace it, or it's not an either or, it's something that can work very well with it. So in conclusion, really, we're designing this methodology in our work through Geronte. It draws on two other existing methods, and it has a number of advantages, particularly the fact that it's very time critical, and it enables the refinement and iterations that are necessary to develop something that works in the existing healthcare settings that are there. And we expect it will be beneficial for Geronte to enable refinement enable implementation in other settings, and also for other similar projects that are using technology to improve care in healthcare settings. Anthony may have a few more points on that as well to add. Thanks very much. I'm happy to take questions.